Ohio. We're high on Ohio. These stories inform and inspire through the words of people who make Ohio home. Good news and good ideas, identifying and acknowledging the excellence that is all around us. Hi, this is Gene Krebs, and on behalf of the Center for Community Solutions, we're high on Ohio. And what we're doing is we're going around and interviewing thought leaders around this great state and finding out how things work, specifically in their region or community, and also how things work they believe around the state. Today, I'm joined by Jack Frech, who is the Executive Director of the Athens County Job and Family Services Division. And we'd like to have a little chat with Jack about things. So first of all, Jack, thank you again so much for being on the show. And if you could, tell us a little bit, how did you get to be in this position? And why does everybody seek you out? I mean, every time the national news media comes into Ohio, they always stop here in Athens, it seems like, to talk to you.
Well, to answer your last question first, I think it's because I talk a lot. And
which is why we wanted you on the show.
That's exactly right. How I got to be in this position, actually it'll be 40 years ago this September that I started working as a caseworker at the Trumbull County Welfare Department, which was a kind of a fallback job because I had a degree to be a teacher. I was going to be a social studies teacher and couldn't find a job. So I took civil service tests, whatever I could do to find a job, and I ended up getting a job as a caseworker at the Welfare Department up in Trumbull County. That was in September 1973. I did that for a year or so, and then I transferred down to Athens County to work as a welfare caseworker. Then I became a social worker with the Welfare Department. Eventually, I got a job at the Community Action Agency as their deputy director, and I worked there for 5 years. And then in 1981, I was all 30 years old, I got hired to be the director of the Athens County, what was then known as the Welfare Department.
Okay.
And I've been in this job ever since.
Okay. And you're optimistic about the region? Then? No.
I'm not optimistic about the region.
Okay.
I think that, since I've been in this business, I've seen a huge decline in public support for poor people.
Okay.
And because the Appalachian area is disproportionately poor, that has meant less support for the Appalachian area. And I think it's beyond that. I think there's...
it's often overlooked.
It's almost entirely overlooked now. I mean, if you look at the Appalachian Regional Commission, for instance, it's barely in existence at the federal level. Yeah. It's barely in existence any longer. I mean, very, very little money is channeled through that. And I think that, people have far less, as a society, we have far less compassion for poor people than we did when I started.
You and I do something I found out that's actually the same thing. Now, I come at things from, historically, my pedigree's Republican, so I come at things a little bit differently. But you and I both do exactly the same thing. We're talking a little bit about that. Tell the audience what it is that you do when you go to get gas.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned you did the same thing. When I buy gas, wherever I am, I always kind of glance around to see what the dollar amounts are on the other pumps. And a lot of this started because I noticed here in a little village called Chansey in our community, which is a very, very poor community.
Just 2 miles down the road from you.
Very close to here. That when I would go over there to buy gas, I would notice that there would be gas pumps that would have $3 or $4 on them, $5. And it wasn't unusual for me to see that every pump had $10 or less on it, other than the one I was getting. And that was not all that uncommon. And frequently at other gas stations around the region, I'd see maybe half the pumps had less than $20. Well, clearly it takes far more than that to fill your gas tank up. And I know just from dealing with our clientele that they have no money. And, they are frequently piecing together pocket change or whatever they can to come up with enough money to buy even a gallon of gas. Yeah. And when you see it's that common at a gas station, you realize, how economically depressed that community is.
Tell us a little bit about the Athens County Job and Welfare Department here.
We do, of course, a lot of the things that most job and family services do. We administer cash assistance, we administer food stamps and Medicaid eligibility. We also administer the Child Support Enforcement Program. We administer the Workforce Investment Act programs through the WIA program for job training. We also do some other things that not as many counties do. We have a homemaker home health aid program. We provide direct services.
What's that about? The homemaker home ec program.
Actually, we started a program training. Initially, it was training welfare recipients to be home health aides back in 1984.
Okay.
As part of a federal demonstration program.
Okay.
And we've had home health aides working for us ever since through a wide variety of funding sources.
What is it they do?
Basically what they do is they go out and provide care for elderly or disabled people in their homes.
Home cooked meals?
And whatever's necessary. I mean, it's not 24-hour a day care. It's
Right.
usually just something less than what would be needed for custodial care, but it's we provide services through the Passport program, and we use some of our Title 20 funding to fund this. Not many other counties do that. At one time, there were a number of counties that offered home health aides, but almost all of them have dropped out of that. The other thing that we do, I think, is kind of unusual. We also administer the adult literacy program in the county.
Okay.
We've tried wherever possible. We administer the reentry program for the county.
Okay.
I'm also the co-chair of the reentry task force. We do a wide range of whatever we need to do to help poor people.
You have quite a statewide reputation, and don't let your head swell up too much at this, but you're viewed as a leader, and sometimes some of the other job and family service directors kind of go, I wish I had the nerve to do what Jack Frech is doing down in Athens County. Is it your commissioners have been cooperative, or?
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's...
I know one of them, Lenny Eliason.
Of course, I've been here through 15 or more county commissioners now.
Okay.
And they've all been cooperative. I mean, all of them, from the very beginning.